The man rolled down the car window, then cautiously extended his hand outside. He wanted to know how deep he was buried in the mudslide, but as soon as he applied pressure, large amounts of mud rushed in through the window gap. Frightened, the man quickly rolled up the window, but before he could recover, the sunroof above began to crack. In panic, he grabbed some tape, attempting to seal the broken glass. However, this thin tape simply couldn't withstand the weight of the mud. Just as he was about to be buried alive, he suddenly spotted a car steering wheel lock. The man immediately picked it up and wedged it diagonally across the sunroof. Fortunately, the sunroof stopped breaking further, while also blocking the mud from sinking in. Seeing he was temporarily safe, he finally dared to breathe a sigh of relief. He grabbed the mineral water beside him and drank it until almost empty, only then realizing it was the only bottle in the car. But it was too late for regrets. At that moment, he finally remembered he had a phone and quickly dialed for help, but buried under this thick mud and sand, he couldn't get any signal at all. With no choice, he tried to start the car, planning to force his way out of the mud, but soon after the engine roared twice. The car went completely silent. The man fell into complete despair, pounding the car like a madman. Unexpectedly, this triggered a secondary landslide. The car shook violently. The man stared in terror, not daring to make any more movements. Fortunately, things soon calmed down, and the man's suspended heart finally settled. Next, he began to inventory the supplies in the car, hoping to find tools for self-rescue. However, at that moment, muddy water began seeping through the sunroof cracks. Seeing this, the man quickly put his face up to it, frantically sucking with his mouth. But drinking this way hardly quenched his thirst, so he used a nail clipper to widen the gap, then pulled out a bank card, folded it into a funnel shape and inserted it into the empty bottle, finally wedging it against the car lock. Watching the muddy water accumulate in the bottle, the man clapped his hands in joy. But the good times didn't last. The man felt he couldn't breathe properly, as the oxygen in the car was depleting. In this sealed environment, before long, the man would die from oxygen deprivation. He looked at the folding chair in his hand, thinking for a moment, then pulled out the steel tube from inside the chair, planning to extend it above ground, but halfway through pushing it up, rainwater flowed down through the tube. The man cried out as he pulled the tube back, quickly plugging the hole with newspaper. As he was at a loss for what to do, he spotted the mineral water bottle nearby, took it and unscrewed the cap, which perfectly sealed the tube opening. Afterward, he gripped the steel tube tightly, carefully pushing it upward bit by bit. But due to the severe oxygen shortage in the car, even breathing had become extremely difficult. He took out a jack from the trunk, with a proper tool to help. Efficiency indeed improved significantly. However, unexpectedly, the jack had reached its limit, and the steel tube still hadn't penetrated the soil. The man refused to give up. He found a blanket and draped it over his shoulders. Using his shoulder to support one end of the tube, he exerted all his strength upward, until he felt no more resistance on his shoulder. The man slowly bent down, found some wire to open the bottle cap, then looked up with full anticipation. When he felt the sunlight and fresh air again, the man experienced the joy of rebirth.